Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are watching me for the first time, I'm Aubrey. I'm so glad you're here. Today is going to be story time. I have a really funny, kind of annoying story to tell you about something that happened in my life recently, and I think that some people might get a kick out of it. But I'll start with this. Not a big dog person. My boyfriend has a pit bull who he cherishes probably more than me. He will not get rid of him whatsoever. He's a rescue dog. And I mean, of course it wouldn't be fair for me to try and get rid of him, even though I have tried, because he's got the worst farts and he's just big and he sheds a lot. I'm not a big pit bull person, but he comes with the territory because I love my boyfriend, so I just have to deal with it. But anyways, I've always wanted a small, cute little dog, one that I can like fit in my pocket. Not that small, but seriously, they have those dogs and they're so expensive. If I had $5,000 to drop on like a tiny little poodle, I would get it in a heartbeat, because then he would just be here while I'm filming this. Anyway, going back to my story. So I thought about getting a golden doodle, and they're so expensive too. Then I thought maybe a chocolate labradoodle. I saw one in the mall one day and I just thought it was so freaking cute. And they're about $500 to $1,000, so still kind of out of my budget for getting a dog, because then I've got to go get a bowl, a kennel, a leash and collar, like everything new, because of course this would be my new dog and I'd want everything new for my new dog. So I was just like, I need to just wait it out and see later if I really want another dog. Like, don't be impulsive, because that's usually what I do. I'm just an impulsive shopper, buyer, whatever. So anyway, couple weeks ago, I'm on my way to Vegas with my mom and Jake. We were just going for the weekend. And my mom starts telling me a story about my dog, my aunt's dog. And my aunt has a sheepadoodle. Her name's Maggie, and she's just so cute. She's white and fluffy and curly, and every time I go visit, she loves me. So I'm just like, oh, I could get used to this, you know, having a little dog that comes and crawls on your laps and just cuddles with you. I could get used to that. Well, she's like, did you hear about Maggie? I'm like, no, what happened? Well, to make a long story short, Maggie kind of nipped at a kid in the neighborhood, and his parents blew the whole situation way out of proportion. And my aunt had to give had to give Maggie away. And she was in the pound at that time, being quarantined for 10 days. I'm like, they quarantine animals? I didn't even know that. But anyway, so when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, they must all be devastated. My aunt has 5 kids and they all love her. So I'm like, they all must be devastated. So I was like, I'll take her. There comes in my impulsiveness. But Jake was like, you didn't even ask me. I'm like, Jake, you've been wanting another dog, so why not get a free dog? I call my aunt up. I'm like, Katie, are you giving Maggie away? Because if you are, I'd love to take her. And she's like, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. She was like, okay, well, give me a call back when you're in Vegas or from Vegas, and we can work out the details. I was like, all right. It had been about, a week since I talked to her, and it wasn't like I couldn't wait to come home from Vegas to get a dog. I thought about it, I was like, oh, kind of nice having a dog of my own. And I even thought, maybe this will help me love Rocky more. And so this might not be a bad idea. So I go up to Logan, Utah on a Saturday. It was actually my birthday. And I wasn't even thinking of bringing Maggie home that day. I didn't even have my car. My sister picked me up. And so I was just going up to be there with my family on my birthday. My mom threw me a little party, and so that wasn't even a thought. Well, then when I get there, my aunt is leaving my mom's house to go get her kids to come back. And she was like, hey, I want to talk to you about Maggie. I was like, oh yeah. She's like, she actually gets out of the pound today. Are you able to take her home? I'm like, for sure. Kylie and Tyson, my sister and her husband drove me up here, but I'm sure they wouldn't mind, they've got their truck, so I'm sure they wouldn't mind, bringing her home with me. She's like, okay, perfect, because I've got a kennel for her, a dog bed, treats, food, a bowl, a leash, everything. I'm like, perfect. Well, that night I bring her home, and I didn't know anything about how dogs should be introduced. So I just bring her home, and I bring her into the room where Rocky is, and they start freaking out. I was like, oh, Rocky is humongous. He's like 90 pounds. Okay, maybe he's between 70 and 90 pounds. So give or take 20 pounds, whatever. But it's hard for me to control him, especially if I'm holding another dog. And she was so scared, she like jumped up on me, and I'm holding her. So I put them in their own separate kennels for the night. And then I call up Jake, and I'm like, Jake, oh my gosh, that was a lot worse than I thought it was gonna be. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, Maggie meeting Rocky. They freaked out. He's like, well, how did you introduce them? I'm like, I just brought Maggie inside. And he's like, You can't do that. You can't, dogs can't meet like that. They've got to meet in a neutral place. Excuse me, I didn't know there were rules, you know? This isn't like online dating where you meet in a neutral place so that you don't feel like someone's going to murder you. I didn't know this. I'm like, Jake, you knew Maggie was coming home with me tonight. Why didn't you tell me? He's like, I just figured you would know that. I'm like, no one knows that unless you're a dog person, which I'm not. Anyway, so they slept in their own separate kennels. That was day one. Day two, Jake actually took Maggie and Rocky up to Bear Lake with him, and he stayed the night up there because he was working on his trailer up there. So I was fine. That's okay. Day three is Tuesday. Jake actually goes down to Fillmore, which is like pretty far south from where I live in Ogden, and left me with both the dogs all day, which is not a big deal. That's kind of what I do anyway. I work from home. And so he was gone until about 10 o'clock at night. Well, around, I want to say 6 or maybe 5, I go run some errands. And I'm gone for about a few hours running errands, and I put them both in their kennels. And let me just say this, Rocky's kennel trained, so he can stay in the kennel for like 14 hours. Doesn't make him a mess, doesn't bark, nothing. He's perfect. Well, I kind of heard Maggie kind of barking when I was leaving, but I'm like, okay, she'll get used to it. I come home, I could smell it when I walked in my door. And I was like, oh my gosh, please don't be a terrible mess. I walk into my bedroom. Somehow she kicked the tray from her kennel out of her kennel and pooped all over our carpet in our bedroom. And it was just like a square. It outlined the kennel. She pooped and stepped all over it. I freaked out. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is disgusting. She was covered in poop. I had to pick her up so she wouldn't track the poop all over the rest of the carpet to take her outside. I called Jake. I was about ready to cry because I hate that so much, which is kind of funny that I think about, like, why did you get a dog if you don't even like picking up poop? But generally speaking, if you're picking up dog poop, it's like dog turds, and so you just pick it up. This is scrubbing the floor while you're breathing in the freaking scent of their crap. So I called Jake. I'm like, Jake, this is what happened. If you love me, you will clean it when you get home. He's like, fine, just put on the fan and light some candles so it doesn't smell terrible when I get home. I'm like, okay. That was Tuesday. So yeah, we went Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday, no accidents in the house, which was nice. She still wasn't really getting along with Rocky, but I figured it would just take time. She was still barking at night, but I figured it would take time. All this would take time, and I just figured I gotta be patient. I took on this responsibility, but I told Jake after the accident on Tuesday that he would have to help out more because I just couldn't handle it. And he was okay with it because he just loves dogs. I don't get it, but whatever. Well, Saturday night, I decided to go up to my mom's because my grandma was in town and I wanted to spend time with them. But because I was going down up there so late, I figured I'd sleep over because I really don't like driving an hour up there to just hang out for an hour or two, then driving home. So I was like, I'll just stay the night, spend more time with them that way. So I told Jake this, and he's like, what about Maggie? Take her with you. I'm like, no, because when I took her out with me one day to go get lunch, she scratched all my leather seat up. And that was my fault. I should have just known not to take her into my car. So anyway, he said, no, I'm not gonna take her. I just kind of need a break from her actually. Like I need a good night's sleep. And he's like, well, what are we gonna do with her? I'm like, well, we could put her in the garage, but it's kind of hot. So how about, you figure it out. And so he's like, what if she has another accident? I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I really just want to go visit my grandma and my mom without having a freaking yappy dog there. Like I don't want to deal with her tonight. And that was very selfish of me. When I look back at it, it was very selfish of me. But, sometimes you're selfish and you gotta be. So anyway, I went up, stayed the night. I wake up, because Jake works nights, by the way. He's gone all night and all weekend long. He just is gone, so working. So that's another reason why I want to sleep over, because I'd rather spend time with my family or friends and be alone in my house with 2 dogs. So anyway, I go up the next morning. I wake up to a text from Jake saying, Maggie pooped all over the house again. You should have taken her with you. We need to give her back to Katie and Eli. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. this is just a nightmare. This is not gonna work out. For the longest time, it was me trying to like hint to Jake that I really couldn't handle it, but he was like, I think maybe making me take on the responsibility, like this is what you said you're gonna do and you need to do it. So I was like, okay, whatever. But now Jake's at the point where he's just done. And so I was like, all right, I guess we gotta figure something else out. So anyways, I get back from my mom's and Jake just kind of explained to me what happened, cleaned it all up. Well then, that was Sunday. Now we've had our Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So now we're going on the 10th day. Monday is the 10th day. And we decided anytime we leave her, now we just leave her in the house. So we had been actually doing pretty fine. And then Tuesday came around, still nothing from like the major accident on Sunday morning or Saturday night, whatever you want to say. But it was like 1 o'clock in the morning now leading into Wednesday morning. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Jake is really hungry because he works nights, so that's just how he gets sometimes. And I didn't really have food in the house, and so I took him to McDonald's at 1 o'clock in the morning. We were gone for maybe 20 minutes. Come back, she pooped all over our brand new rug and peed on it. And that's when we both were just done. It's like, I don't understand. You know, we weren't putting her in the kennel because she clearly has anxiety issues. It's not just, you know, her being a bad dog, you know, that's on us. But then we leave her out and she still does it. And there's no anxiety there. She has all this open space, you know, and she was, you know, supposedly potty trained and she wasn't having any other accidents. Now we just feel like, okay, what else can we do, you know? And so I end up talking to my aunt. I'm like, you know, I'm really sorry. I just don't think we can do this. You know, she's had so many accidents now and I'm not gonna, I think she needs someone that can spend more time with her and, you know, maybe more kids around. So yeah, we found her new family that just loved her and she loved them. So it was really perfect fit. But I just like, I realized I am not a dog person. Unless it literally is this small and the poops are this small, I just can't do it. I'm not patient enough for dogs, but it is what it is, you know? I just am not a dog person. And that's okay, now that I'm thinking about it. I just don't like, let me say that. I do like animals. I think that they're amazing creatures, and I never want to see harm come to any animal, except cats maybe, but I'm just not an animal person. So yeah, that's my story on how to lose a dog in 12 days. Do not judge me, even though some of you are probably like, wow, she can't handle a dog. What can she handle? It's a dog, so it's actually a lot of work. And, you know, I'll just have to love dogs from afar, from on Facebook, on videos, and think they're cute. Because that's about as much as I can handle, especially with Rocky in the other room. That's it for now. I really enjoyed this, and I'm glad that you guys watched. Thumbs up, hit the like button if you did like this, and don't forget to subscribe because I have more funny stories coming and more amazing videos coming, so make sure you subscribe. See you guys, bye!